Dear friends, welcome to this week's edition of the Inspired Parsha. This week we have the incredible privilege to read through Parshas Balak. And like every Parsha in the Torah, there's so many beautiful, rich Torah ideas, especially in the Hasidic world. But I just want to focus on one pasuk, one verse. This is in Bamidbar, chapter 23, verse 9. We all know the famous story. Balak, the king of Moab, sent the prophet Bilam to try to curse the Jewish people. And he wasn't able to curse the Jewish people, and instead he gave the Jewish people blessings. And some of the most famous, beautiful, poetic verses came actually from the prophet Bilam. He said in this pasuk, this is again chapter 23, verse 9, it says, Ki merosh tsarim eno umigvos ashurenu hin am levaded yishkon uvagoyim lo yitchashev. For from the tops of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Behold, a nation that dwells alone and is not counted among the nations. So, at first glance, when you hear these words, behold, a nation that dwells alone, that doesn't sound like a blessing. That sounds like a curse. You know, that the Jewish people so often are all alone in the world. So often the world is ganging up against us. But the great Rav Yosef Ber Soloveitchik says something beautiful. He says that the times when we can really shine in terms of moral clarity, it's not necessarily talking about physical ability, physical strength, because of course when we are alone it is difficult when other nations of the world are against us. But when we shine from a moral perspective, he says it's moral dignity, or he calls it dignified solitude. That's when we shine the most. You know, if the entire world is claiming that we're wrong, but we know deep down we're doing the right thing, that's when we're shining the most as a people. That's when we're shining with moral clarity. You know, it's very easy to just go with the flow. You know, if people are saying that something is right, it's very easy to just go with whatever everyone around you is thinking. But the biggest time, it's of course it's a test as well. The biggest time when we have the opportunity to shine is when the world is against what you're doing, and yet you know deep down you're doing the right thing. This happens, by the way, in our personal lives too. You know, sometimes we're all influenced by our surroundings. Sometimes we have friends and family members that are telling us to do something, and we know deep down it's wrong. By dwelling alone, by going against the flow, even if it means being all alone, but you know it's the right thing to do, that's the opportunity to shine the most. I also love the second half of the pasuk, the very end. It says that we are not counted among the nations. You know, a lot of the great Hasidic rabbis, the masters, say that the Jews don't live with the same rules of nature that the rest of the world rules with. And we see this time and time again. You know, right now in the land of Israel, we just witnessed that 12-day war between us and Iran, and they launched so many high-speed ballistic missiles at Israel, and yet there were very few number of deaths, very few number of casualties, relative number of casualties. Miracles. We don't go by the rules of the world. We're not governed by the rules of nature, the laws of nature. So these are tremendous blessings. I want to give everyone a bracha to take these lessons to heart, to remember having moral clarity, even in the face of opposition, is a time when you have the opportunity to shine the most. And also, of course, remember how special it is to be a Jew, that we're not counted among the nations. We're ruled by a different destiny. We have a different set of our laws, how we're governed, our future is different than the rest of the world. We're not bound always by the laws of nature. Remember how special it is to be a Jew. I want to wish everyone here a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh, and thank you so much for